Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and a very warm welcome to Government House, Yarralumla. Dawa Nuna, Dawa Nunawel. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Nunawel people, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present, and emerging leaders, and any other Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islanders that may be gathered here with us this morning. My name is Paul Singer, and I'm the Official Secretary to the Governor-General. And as this badge signifies with its cross quills, I'm also Secretary of the Order of Australia, the council which makes recommendations to the Governor-General, who is the Chancellor and Principal Companion of the Order. I'm also the Secretary of the Australian Bravery Decorations Council, the body which makes recommendations to the Governor-General for Bravery Awards. Before we start today's ceremony, I'd like to acknowledge that despite the challenges posed by the current pandemic, we are delighted to be able to host this morning's ceremony in a COVID-safe manner. We are grateful for your understanding of and compliance with the measures that we've put in place to ensure everyone's safety. Today is a special day, not only for the recipients, but also for their friends, their family and their communities. It is a day when we celebrate a diverse range of impressive achievements and service. The Australian Honours System provides a wonderful mechanism through which we as a nation can recognise and celebrate ordinary Australians doing extraordinary things. Since its inception in 1975, over 420,000 people have been recognised for their meritorious, bravery, military or national service. The Order of Australia is the principal means of recognising outstanding service, and it's important to note that nomination comes from all parts of the community. Anyone can nominate. As staff at Government House, my colleagues and I are privileged to play a small part in the celebration and recognition of that achievement. We hope that we can make this morning an occasion that you'll all recall with pride for a long time to come. Shortly, I invite you to stand as Her Excellencies the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley enter the room, and then please remain standing for the singing of the first verse of the Australian National Anthem. The investiture will then begin and proceed in the order listed in your programs. After I read their names and citations, the recipients will enter the room from the doorway on my right, and after they've been invested by the Governor-General, will depart via the central aisle back to their seats, and at this point, you might like to show your appreciation with a short applause as the recipients proceed to their seating. At the conclusion of the ceremony, I'll invite recipients to join with Her Excellencies on the state entrance stairs for an official photograph. And after those photos have been taken, Their Excellencies and recipients look forward to joining with all guests in the dining room where refreshments will be served. So, ladies and gentlemen, please relax and enjoy this very special occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the arrival of Her Excellencies the Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia and Mrs Hurley, and remain standing for the singing of the Australian National Anthem.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is fed by sea. Our land abounds in gracious gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's pages, every state, advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Good morning and a very warm welcome to Government House at Yarralumla from Linda and I and the staff here at Government House. We're delighted to share this very special occasion in the lives of our recipients here today and of course in their families and friends who are either here physically or watching to support them. These days are very, very special days on the calendar here at Government House. Indeed, they're the highlight of the year when we acknowledge the contribution that citizens make to our country, to their communities and to their fellow citizens. To begin by acknowledging that Government House sits on the land of the Ngunnawal people, and I do thank them for caring and looking after this beautiful part of our country for generation after generation, and pay respects to elders past and present. You'll have noticed this morning, of course, on your way in, that today is a day of finery, of pomp and some protocol. The house is all dressed, the gardens are splendid, a right royal occasion, you might say, and so it should be, because this is the occasion where we acknowledge these amazing contributions. But it's also an Australian ceremony, so please relax. I heard Paul tell you that. You may smile, applaud at the appropriate times, and enjoy the occasion. Our honours and awards system was introduced in 1975 to replace the imperial award system. It has, I think, a particular characteristics, perhaps unique amongst other honours and awards systems, in that in the general or the civilian division, nominations come from the community. They come from people's peers. And that's an important aspect. It is our or your system. This is not a system where elites in Canberra or our state capitals reach down and point to someone who's doing well and award them a medal. This is your system. I'd like you to bear that in mind, because I'm going to issue you some homework after the completion of the formal part of the ceremony. As you're aware, we've had a very difficult time in Australia over recent years. During the 4 and a bit years, Linda and I were in Sydney at Government House there. Of course, extreme drought in many parts of eastern Australia and southwestern Australia. We've had massive floods in northern Queensland and now down in the southern part of our country. Of course, the horrific bushfires, which are still very much in our memories at the moment, and now a pandemic. Each and every one of those challenges in themselves would have been hard for a country and its people. To have them compounded has been a very, very difficult time for us. As you can imagine, Linda and I have been quite constrained in our travel, given restrictions around the country, but we have used every known virtual meeting app, I think there is, to reach out to leaders in the community, to members of charitable organisations, schools and so on, get a sense of what's happening on the ground, to support people, urge people and acknowledge their good work. After every one of those calls, we come away reinforced in our belief in the strength of character, the goodness, the big hearts that are out in our community in Australia. I can be accused of seeing Australia through rose-coloured glasses, but I don't think I do, because I see its goodness every day of the year. And I'm optimistic about where we'll be in the future. Yes, we have difficult times ahead of us, but we have the best resource, the greatest asset, our people, to see us through it. And today we will see a microcosm of that, a small example of that contribution. So please enjoy the ceremony. Again, small numbers, so quite intimate, again, due to the pandemic constraints, but no more less important aspect of our national calendar today. I shall now commence the formal ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, to be presented with the insignia of his appointment as a companion in the General Division, Professor Bruce Robinson, for eminent service to medical research and to the national healthcare through policy development and reform and to tertiary education. Professor Robinson is an exceptional Australian who has made leading contributions to endocrinology and genetics in medicine. He's also displayed outstanding commitment to reforming Australia's healthcare system through his roles as chair of both the Medical Benefits Schedule Review Task Force and the National Health and Medical Research Council. As chair of the Australian Vietnam Medical Foundation, he has been a pathfinder and leader in building an alliance with Vietnam and Southeast Asia, and as a scientific ambassador, has added to our understanding of our region. Throughout his long academic leadership career, particularly as Dean of the Medical School at the University of Sydney, he has supervised many PhD and master students working on the genetic basis for tumour formation and gene therapy. Professor Robinson's contribution across a range of healthcare spheres is deserving of our highest recognition. Professor Bruce Robinson appointed a companion of the Order.
Professor Robinson, it's a great privilege and pleasure to present you with this award today. I think a bit differently to what we might normally do. I would like to thank you on behalf of your fellow Australians for what can I describe as a complete package, not only in education but leadership in so many fields. You really changed the way we look at our health system, and the view care of individuals, and the way you're mentoring and lead so many young people. It'll make our future a lot better. So thank you very much.
To be presented with the insignia of her appointment as an officer in the General Division, Distinguished Professor Genevieve Bell. For distinguished service to education, particularly to the social sciences and cultural anthropology. Professor Bell is a global leader in applying social sciences and cultural anthropology to technology development and digital transformation, and how this technology is intersecting with humanity. She is an Australian of international standing and reputation, and has been recognised through numerous awards. She stood at the very pinnacle of a multi-billion-dollar global industry. She's widely regarded as a founder of UX, as it is conceived worldwide, and is considered to have been a pioneer in critical design as applied in a commercial context. At a time where there is worldwide technology revolution, Professor Bell's skills and insights are more important than ever for Australia to transition into the digital age with enhanced prosperity and sustained social cohesion. Distinguished Professor Genevieve Bell, appointed an Officer of the Order.
It's a great honour to present this to you.
Thank you. I hear that, boy.
In a sense, I think you might think that your work has just been completed, but I think it's only beginning with what we're aiming for now, and this evolution across the globe in terms of our digital use of digital technology and the human factors involvement that is going on. So thank you for your contribution so far. I look forward to the next one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
To be presented with the insignia of his appointment as a member in the General Division, Mr. Kim Gillis, for significant service to public administration and to defence projects. Mr. Gillis has dedicated his career to providing the very best outcomes for Australia's servicemen and women. His unique experience in both the public and private sectors enabled him to drive much needed reform in his role as Deputy Secretary for Capability Acquisition and Sustainment Group in the Department of Defence. He was central to key decisions taken about the future of the Australian Navy, including patrol and supply vessels, submarines and frigates. He provided important advice on tender processes and strategies for shipbuilding on multi-billion-dollar contracts with intense political overlays. He also played a significant role in undertaking the integration of the Defence Materiel Organisation into the Department of Defence. Mr. Gillis has achieved outstanding results for our nation, in particular for defence and industries, and his achievements merit our recognition. Mr. Kim Gillis, appointed a member of the Order.
Congratulations, you've got 30 months for presenting this to you. I know better than most how hard you've worked for Australia, for the Defence Force and the defence industry and for government over many, many years. And I know outside of that, how charitable you and your family have been. So thank you very much for your splendid contribution. Congratulations.
To be presented with their insignia of their award of the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Mrs. Meryl Packer and Mr. Rex Packer, for service to the Lutheran Church of Australia. Mr. and Mrs. Packer epitomise giving back to the community. Their efforts and achievements over many years in supporting the various works of the Woden Valley Lutheran Church have been exemplary. They've both served in a range of roles and devoted countless hours of voluntary service. In particular, their support of the Warrambui Retreat has advanced its mission of providing children and adults with opportunities for enjoyment, growth and development. Both have displayed exceptional advocacy and organisational skills in carrying out leadership positions at the retreat. Their willingness to roll up their sleeves and do whatever is required has been a hallmark of their service to the community. Mr. and Mrs. Packer are inspiring role models, and we honour them today. Mrs. Merrill Packer awarded the Medal of the Order, and Mr. Rex Packer awarded the Medal of the Order.
Mr. Packer, great privilege and honour for me to present you with this medal today. Thank you first of all for on behalf of the community I see for the great work you've done in the southern part of the area, territory. Thank you so much for so many youngsters you've moulded over the years and the opportunity to create for families to grow together, hunt together, and explore the world together. So thank you very much. Congratulations.
To be presented with her insignia of the award of the Conspicuous Service Medal, Warrant Officer Class 1, Leanne Seppi. For meritorious devotion to duty as a Command Warrant Officer, Joint Task Force 633, while deployed on Operation Accordion from January 2018 to January 2019. Warrant Officer Seppi served the senior enlisted member of the Joint Task Force and as an advisor to the Commander Joint Task Force 633 for matters related to the good order, discipline, morale and welfare of the deployed force. She exercised significant influence in a number of complex disciplinary cases, coordinating and managing the diverse interests of stakeholders. Warrant Officer Seppi displayed exceptional care and concern for Joint Task Force personnel, ensuring those returning to Australia for compassionate or medical reasons were supported and assisted throughout their repatriation process. Warrant Officer Class 1 Leanne Seppi awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal.
Congratulations and great particularly the fine leadership in the border area of operations, and particularly for the way you looked after those who return back home. So sometimes in the very difficult circumstances. But thank you for your leadership and great opportunity. Congratulations.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the presentations this morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've acknowledged each of the recipients individually. I think it would be appropriate now to acknowledge them as a group. Please join me. Now to your homework. You've seen the range of activities or contributions that people have been recognised for this morning. And of course, we only have a small sample with a smaller group, as I say, given our current constraints. But they are an example of what happens in your community. So please, for those here physically, for those watching, go back to your community, look amongst your community and nominate people into the system. Some other things we should be aware of. If you look at our overall annual award recipients, only 40% are women. That is not good enough. And our multicultural Indigenous representation is not where it should be. So again, please, look in your communities. You know the people who are doing good work and nominate. Paul will give you some direction on how to nominate. I'm here to urge you to nominate. And I'd really like to mark your homework by acknowledging those people as they come through those doors in a year or two. Our system, please nominate and make sure that the people you know who are doing great work in our community are acknowledged for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, to assist with the homework that the Governor-General has just issued, I do encourage you to look at the Governor-General's website where you'll find plenty of information on how to nominate someone who you think is worthy of recognition within the Order of Australia. As the Governor-General has said, we look forward to welcoming those successful nominations back here to Government House for an investiture such as this in the years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, shortly we invite you to stand for the departure of Her Excellencies the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley, and for the recipients to join with Her Excellencies for a photograph on the state entrance stairs. After those photographs have been taken, refreshments will be served in the dining room. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the departure of Her Excellencies the Governor-General, Mrs Hurley, and the recipients. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. I now invite you to proceed through to the dining room. Lynette will show you the way, and I wish you a very pleasant and enjoyable morning. Thank you very much.